The National Union Republican Party of the United States, assembled in National Convention, in the city of Chicago, on the 20th day of May, 1868, make the following declaration of principles. First, we congratulate the country on the assured success of the Reconstruction policy of Congress, as evinced by the adoption, in the majority of the states lately in rebellion, of constitutions securing equal civil and political rights to all, and regard it as the duty of the government to sustain those constitutions, and to prevent the people of such states from being remitted to a state of anarchy or military rule. Second, the guarantee by Congress of equal suffrage to all loyal men at the South was demanded by every consideration of public safety, of gratitude, and of justice, and must be maintained, while the question of suffrage in all the loyal states properly belongs to the people of those states. Third, we denounce all forms of repudiation as a national crime, and national honor requires the payment of the public indebtedness in the utmost good faith to all creditors at home and abroad, not only according to the letter, but the spirit of the laws under which it was contracted. Fourth, it is due to the labor of the nation, that taxation should be equalized and reduced as rapidly as the national faith will permit. Fifth, the national debt, contracted as it has been for the preservation of the Union for all time to come, should be extended over a fair period of redemption, and it is the duty of Congress to reduce the rate of interest thereon whenever it can be done honestly. Sixth, that the best policy to diminish our burden of debt, is to so improve our credit that capitalists will seek to loan us money at lower rates of interest than we now pay and must continue to pay so long as repudiation, partial or total, open or covered, is threatened or suspected. Seventh, the government of the United States should be administered with the strictest economy, and the corruptions which have been so shamefully nursed and fostered by Andrew Johnson call loudly for radical reform. Eighth, we profoundly deplore the untimely and tragic death of Abraham Lincoln, and regret the accession of Andrew Johnson to the presidency, who has acted treacherously to the people who elected him and the cause he was pledged to support, has usurped high legislative and judicial functions, has refused to execute the laws, has used his high office to induce other officers to ignore and violate the laws, has employed his executive powers to render insecure the property, the peace, the liberty, and life of the citizen, has abused the pardoning power, has denounced the national legislature as unconstitutional, has persistently and corruptly resisted, by every means in his power, every proper attempt at the reconstruction of the states lately in rebellion, has perverted the public patronage into an engine of wholesale corruption, and has been justly impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and properly pronounced guilty thereof by the vote of 35 senators. Ninth, the doctrine of Great Britain and other European powers, that because a man is once a subject, he is always so, must be resisted, at every hazard, by the United States, as a relic of the feudal times, not authorized by the law of nations, and at war with our national honor and independence. Naturalized citizens are entitled to be protected in all their rights of citizenship, as though they were native-born, and no citizen of the United States, native or naturalized, must be liable to arrest and imprisonment by any foreign power, for acts done or words spoken in this country, and, if so arrested and imprisoned, it is the duty of the government to interfere in his behalf. Tenth, of all who were faithful in the trials of the late war, there were none entitled to more especial honor than the brave soldiers and seamen who endured the hardships of campaign and cruise, and imperiled their lives in the service of the country. The bounties and pensions provided by law for these brave defenders of the nation, are obligations never to be forgotten. The widows and orphans of the gallant dead are the wards of the people, a sacred legacy bequeathed to the nation's protecting care. 11th, foreign immigration, which in the past, has added so much to the wealth, development of resources, and increase of power to this nation. The asylum of the oppressed of all nations should be fostered and encouraged by a liberal and just policy. 12th, this convention declares its sympathy with all the oppressed people which are struggling for their rights. 13th, we highly commend the spirit of magnanimity and forgiveness with which men who have served in the rebellion, but now frankly and honestly cooperate with us in restoring the peace of the country, and reconstructing the southern state governments upon the basis of impartial justice and equal rights, are received back into the communion of the loyal people, and we favor the removal of the disqualifications and restrictions imposed upon the late rebels, in the same measure as the spirit of disloyalty will die out, and as may be consistent with the safety of the loyal people. 14th, we recognize the great principles laid down in the immortal Declaration of Independence as the true foundation of democratic government, and we hail with gladness every effort toward making these principles a living reality on every inch of American soil.